Good afternoon, Suidlanders, and welcome to Suidlanders The Week in Review for Friday, the 27th of September. Many of you will have noted that we didn't do one last week. It was because my internet got unexpectedly switched off. It wasn't a payment problem, it wasn't an account problem, it was a problem of an entirely different nature. And that has hampered us for a few days, but we're endeavoring to make a plan. And while I wait for new internet to be installed, I am doing this by voice because it makes the file a lot smaller and therefore easier to pass on to the people who do the editing, given that I'm now living in a very remote area where the signal, the cell phone data signal, is quite weak. So, without further ado, let's pick up where we left off. On Friday, the 13th of September, when we did our last week in review, there were a couple of events that hadn't emerged fully yet. So we go from there. It was revealed that Kamala Harris wore earphones disguised as earrings in her televised debate with Donald Trump, presumably to receive hints and tips from her team. A few days later, an as yet anonymous insider from ABC television gave a sworn affidavit that the questions posed by ABC had been given to Kamala Harris in advance and perhaps, or to some extent, composed in conjunction with her. Also on Friday, the 13th of September, reports emerged that Russia was staging her largest naval exercise for 3 decades. Almost immediately, bona fide experts in the field began to chorus together that at over 400 vessels, this is the biggest naval event of all countries since World War II. Vladimir Putin was in St. Petersburg and he was caught by a reporter as he was walking toward a building and confronted with a question pertaining to the ongoing NATO-Ukraine discussions about employing long-range missiles in strikes deep into Russia, and he very darkly implied that the consequences would be nuclear retaliation. In any case, he said quite explicitly that Russia would be at war with NATO. He said the point is not whether or not strikes are made deep into Russian territory. He said the point is that those strikes are being made already by drones and so on. He said, however, high specification missile strikes would have to be perpetrated by NATO. Ukraine does not possess the means to do the reconnaissance, the satellite capacity, or the targeting, or the codes for operating those missiles. Therefore, any such attacks would be tantamount to NATO itself attacking Russia, and Russia would retaliate accordingly. Also on Friday, the 13th of September, satellite images revealed that a Russian cargo ship received a load of short-range ballistic missiles from Iran. On Saturday, the 14th of September, it was leaked that over the course of the weekend, the White House gave permission in principle for Ukraine to employ NATO missiles against Russian territory, but we are hearing that there may be some caution urged, as in not that target and not now, but an in principle permission has been given. On the 15th of September, Yemen fired a single ballistic missile into Israel. The missile flew 2,000 kilometers past 3 NATO anti-missile naval vessels, 2 American, 1 French, evading 22 Israeli air defense points, and penetrated the entire multi-layered air defense systems known as Iron Dome, Arrow, and David Sling. Plus, already airborne Air Force jets, plus Israel's electronic jamming system, and it struck a train station 6 kilometers from Ben Gurion Airport. The 16th of September at 1:30 p.m. on the golf course of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, a Secret Service agent spotted a rifle barrel peeking out from a bush. He immediately engaged the target. Target dropped the rifle. He was not struck by the Secret Service agent's bullets. He managed to run away, jump into an SUV, and drive off. However, a passerby saw the entire event, took a good look at the man, the SUV, and the registration plates, gave that information to the police, and the man was arrested one county away. It has since transpired that he has very strong connections to the CIA. On Monday, the 17th of September, Mossad detonated miniature bombs disguised as batteries, one of two of the batteries in a series of pages, thousands of pager devices being used by Hezbollah, the resistance organization in southern Lebanon. We have an official list of the casualties. 879 were killed. 602 were in a very critical condition. Some of them later died. 509 were blinded. 2,187 had to be amputated, presumably hand and forearm. 1,736, this is how their list works, I don't know why. 1,736 received severe genital wounds, and there were 1,693 individuals with other wounds, a total of over 7,500 people. On the 18th of September, pre-dawn local time, NATO attacked a Russian arsenal in the Tver region, or oblast, near the town of Toropets, in the northwest of Russia. Ladies and gentlemen, Suidlanders, I have been following this story very, very closely. There is some debate about what instrument was used. It would have had to have come from very far away. There are drones that could do it, but only NATO drones. It could also have been a cruise missile. It could also have been a ballistic missile with a conventional warhead. And there is much debate taking place between experts, bona fide experts, over what instrument was used. I want to reveal to you that it seems now, going by satellite evidence, going by which expert is winning the argument with better reasoning, as if it may have been a miniature nuclear warhead on perhaps a guided or perhaps a short-range ballistic missile. I speak for myself personally when I say to you that I never want to garner a reputation as the boy who cried wolf. However, there is no better opportunity than now for me to, in the spirit of loving kindness, for Suidlanders as an organization, Mr. Miller as my leader, and Suidlanders as beautiful people, all of the members, inform you that this may turn out to be untrue, but at the moment, it does appear as if NATO took drastic steps to antagonize Russia and to escalate the crisis and to indeed cause war between NATO and Russia. Also on the 18th, handheld two-way walkie-talkie radios being used by Hezbollah exploded across the south of Lebanon, leading to thousands of injuries and hundreds of deaths. On Thursday, the 19th of September, the highlight of the day, presumably in reaction to the events of the previous week, gold broke the tremendously significant barrier of $2,600 an ounce for the first time in history. On Friday, the 20th of September, it was reported that the notorious 3 Mile Island nuclear electric power station would be reopened just to provide power to Microsoft's forthcoming AI systems. Saturday the 21st, Sunday the 22nd, Monday the 23rd were all very quiet. So was Tuesday the 24th of September. So we move on to Wednesday the 25th of September. In the early morning of Wednesday the 25th of September, Hezbollah in Lebanon took the unprecedented step of launching a ballistic missile at the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv. In that case, however, the missile was intercepted. Also on Wednesday, the 25th of September, the council responsible for Russia's nuclear doctrine met, and they dramatically revised Russia's nuclear doctrine. Firstly, they extended all of the policies of Russia's nuclear doctrine to Belarus. Belarus meaning White Russia, the neighboring small country to the west. Then they said that any massive incursion into their airspace would provoke a nuclear response. Those are the two primary, most important factors of the three changes that were made. It is a very important movement. Also, on Wednesday, the 25th of September, as reported by the South China Morning Post the following day, China test launched its first known intercontinental ballistic missile. One capable, it wasn't, this was a test launch, but one that is capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. Thursday, the 26th of September, was another quiet day, which brings us to our last two items. On today, Friday, the 27th of September, the time of recording, shortly before 4 o'clock in the afternoon, gold is continuing to go through the roof and has now exceeded the $2,670 a troy ounce mark. And last but not least, the following. I am going to take a deep breath before telling you that very, very, very good sources are revealing that 9 surface-to-air missiles have been smuggled in to the USA through a New Mexico border crossing. So from Mexico northwards into the USA, into the American state of New Mexico. Those missiles are being given to 3 teams of assassins that have been employed for the purposes of shooting down Donald Trump's jet, known as Trump Force One. If those attempts take place, it will not be the 3rd assassination attempts of recent months. They will be the 5th. We all know about the shooting in Ohio. We all know about the would-be shooting on the golf course. What is lesser known is that a truck packed full of explosives was found parked next to the stage, a recent rally, and an event that was kept very, very, very quiet, but which Suidlanders heard about through certain channels that we have 3 weeks ago. A mid-air event, nobody that we know of knows exactly what, supposedly happened in the week immediately after the first shooting, 2 or 3 days later. And our sources tell us that their sources tell them that it was that it was the product of some sabotage. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you, except that we live in the darkest of dark, dark, dark times. May God be with all of us in the days, weeks, and months that lie ahead of us.